Hello, everyone. Today, you are not just going to listen to another book summary. You are about to open a door that very few people dare to enter, the door that shows how humans truly behave. Not the way they act online, not the image they present the world, but their real thoughts, feelings, reactions, manipulations, love, hatred, and lies. Most people hide these parts of themselves behind masks. This is not a motivational story or a happy fairy tale. This is raw truth, sometimes uncomfortable, always strong and unforgettable. Once you see it, you cannot ignore it. This book is one of the most powerful and transformative books ever written. It has sold millions of copies around the world. CEOs, leaders, psychologists, creators, and even spies use it because it reveals the core force behind everything in life: human nature. Why do people betray you even when you help them? Why do you keep falling for the wrong partner over and over? Why do you sabotage your own success even when everything seems perfect? This book explains all these patterns with striking accuracy. Once you understand these laws, you'll begin to see through people's actions. You will stop being manipulated, stop begging for love, and stop wasting your time on the wrong people. You will finally understand why the world works the way it does and how to protect yourself while succeeding in it. If you want to become emotionally stronger, mentally sharper, and unshakably wise, listen carefully. Today, you are not just learning, you are waking up. This video is also great for improving your English. The sentences are simple but strong, full of emotion and real-life examples. They help you understand deep ideas without difficult language. Listening carefully can improve your vocabulary, sentence structure, and comprehension, while teaching lessons about life at the same time. It is not just an English lesson. It is a way to make your thinking and your language stronger together. Law 1. The law of irrationality. People are not fully logical. Most decisions come from emotions. We like to think we make smart, rational choices, that we pick partners carefully by what we need, stay calm, and act maturely. But fear, jealousy, anger, ego, insecurity, and desire usually control us more than logic does. For example, you might buy something expensive not because you need it, but because it makes you feel better or shows others that you are doing well. You might send a message in anger and regret it later, or stay in a toxic relationship out of fear of being alone. These are all examples of irrational behavior. The most dangerous part is that people rarely notice their own irrationality. They invent reasons that sound logical and convince themselves they are right. People see the world not as it is, but as they feel it. Someone secretly insecure may see confidence as arrogance. Someone angry may attack even when you have done nothing wrong. The solution is to first see your own emotions clearly. Pause before reacting and ask yourself, am I responding to reality or to my fear, anger, or ego? Learning this is the first step to controlling yourself. If you cannot control your emotions, others will control them for you. Law 2. The law of narcissism. Everyone is a little self-absorbed. Many think narcissism only means someone who always shows off, needs constant praise, or is obsessed with themselves. But the truth is that everyone has a degree of self-focus. From childhood, people are taught to pay attention to their own needs, pain, dreams, and problems. Even when listening to others, the mind often thinks, when will it be my turn? How does this affect me? Why is no one noticing me? This is everyday narcissism. Because of this, communication is often shallow. When two self-focused people talk, neither is truly listening. Everyone is waiting, comparing, and competing internally. This explains why arguments happen, relationships fail, leaders lose followers, and people feel unnoticed or disconnected. To rise above this, you must develop real empathy. Real empathy is different from fake kindness or pretending to care. It is the ability to step into another person's experience. Ask yourself, what are they feeling? Why are they acting this way? What might be happening in their life that I don't know? For example, if someone shouts at you, your instinct might be to shout back or defend yourself. But empathy allows you to pause and consider that their anger might not be about you. They might be struggling with personal pain. Understanding this doesn't mean letting people take advantage of you. It means staying calm while others lose control. It allows you to influence rather than react. Law 3, the law of role-playing. People are always performing. From childhood, they are taught to act in ways that are socially acceptable. Smile even if you're sad. Pretend like authority. Act confident even if you feel weak. Over time, people become skilled at hiding who they truly are. A person might appear kind, gentle, and polite in public, but in private they could be insecure, manipulative, or cruel. A romantic partner may act perfect outwardly while carrying fear, jealousy, or resentment inside. This law teaches that what you see is rarely the full truth. People are experts at masking their true intentions. You can protect yourself by observing patterns, not performances. Notice how someone treats people who cannot benefit them. Watch their behavior when tired, stressed, or under pressure. Compare their words with their actions. For example, a co-worker might compliment you in front of others, but remain silent when you succeed. A person might claim to be honest, but frequently shifts blame or exaggerates stories. These behaviors reveal their reality, not their mask. The goal is not to become suspicious of everyone, but to see people clearly before giving them your trust, time, or emotions. Most pain comes not from people hurting you, but from believing the mask instead of recognizing reality. By studying behavior carefully, you gain insight that protects you from manipulation and helps you make wiser choices in relationships, work, and life. Understanding this law strengthens your perception of the world and allows you to navigate it more effectively. Law 4, the law of compulsive behavior. People repeat the same patterns again and again. Even when they promise to change, even when they swear they learned their lesson, they usually return to old habits. Someone who is always jealous will be jealous with every partner. A person who often lies will lie again. Someone who avoids responsibility will continue avoiding it, even in new situations. People repeat their emotional patterns because these behaviors feel familiar and safe, even if they cause pain. You can see this in relationships. A person chooses the same type of partner, even after a bad breakup. They might say, "This time everything will be different," but their choices lead them back to the same problems. They are not drawn to what is good for them. They are drawn to what feels known. And what feels known is often unhealthy. The best way to understand someone is to observe what they do over time, not what they promise. Words can be beautiful, but behavior is the real truth. If a person breaks commitments repeatedly, it is not an accident. It is part of their pattern. If they disappear every time life gets difficult, they will do it again. Recognize patterns, and you will understand people clearly. Law 5, the law of covetousness. People always want what they do not have. Desire grows from comparison. When someone sees another person succeed, their interest or envy increases. They might not even want the object itself. They want the feeling of winning, of being equal or better. Humans are driven by wanting what seems rare, special, or difficult to obtain. For example, in love, someone may ignore a person who likes them, but suddenly become interested when that person withdraws. They want what seems out of reach. In careers, people often chase goals because others value them, not because they truly enjoy them. They want the promotion because others see it as success. This desire can lead people to chase illusions endlessly, always seeking something just a little more impressive. Understanding this helps you avoid being manipulated by appearances. What seems attractive often becomes ordinary once obtained. The cycle of desire never ends unless you learn to see through it. Law 6, the law of short-sightedness. People focus on the moment and ignore long-term consequences. They choose comfort now instead of benefit later. They chase quick pleasure, fast success, or instant approval. This is why many people fail to reach meaningful goals. They cannot resist immediate temptations. For example, someone might abandon a project because it becomes difficult, even though finishing it would change their life. A person might stay in an unhealthy relationship because leaving seems hard right now, even though staying will hurt them later. People choose short-term emotions over long-term growth. To rise above this, you need to train your mind to look farther ahead than others. Ask yourself, how will this choice affect me in a year? In 5 years? People who can delay gratification gain an advantage. They build discipline that separates them from the crowd. Thinking long-term also helps you understand others better. Many people make decisions based on stress, insecurity, or the desire for quick relief. Seeing this clearly protects you from taking their actions personally. Law 7, the law of defensiveness. People often react with resistance when they feel judged, criticized, or controlled. Even a small suggestion can make someone feel attacked. When people sense pressure, they close themselves emotionally. They protect their ego first, even if the advice can help them. This is why trying to fix someone usually fails. Humans want to protect their independence and identity. For example, if you tell someone directly that they need to change their behavior, they might deny the problem or become angry. But if you guide them gently, helping them come to the idea on their own, they are more open. People accept ideas that feel like their own discoveries. They reject ideas that feel forced on them. Understanding this can greatly improve communication. If you want someone to listen, reduce the feeling of threat. Ask questions instead of giving orders. Show respect for their perspective. When people feel safe, they let their guard down and become more honest. When they feel attacked, even good advice becomes useless. Law 8, the law of self-sabotage. People often work against their own interests without noticing it. They might fear success because it means responsibility. They might fear failure so much that they never try. They might feel unworthy of love and therefore push away people who care. Humans carry hidden beliefs about themselves, often formed in childhood, and these beliefs shape their behavior. For example, a person who grew up being criticized may become overly cautious, avoiding risks even when opportunities appear. Someone who is ignored might constantly seek attention, even in unhealthy ways. Another person may sabotage relationships because deep inside they believe they are not good enough. To break this cycle, you must become aware of your inner voice, the one that tells you what you can or cannot do. Most people obey this voice without question, even when it limits them. Change begins when you question your fears and challenge your old beliefs. Law 9, the law of repression. People hide many emotions from themselves. They push down feelings like anger, jealousy, sadness, and desire because these emotions are uncomfortable or socially unacceptable. But hidden emotions don't disappear. They come out in indirect ways. A person who pretends to be calm may suddenly explode. Someone who says they are fine may start acting distant. Repression makes emotions stronger, not weaker. For example, a person might say they are not jealous, but then criticize their partner constantly. Another person may claim they are not angry, yet behave in cold or passive-aggressive ways. People often lie to themselves because the truth feels too painful to face. Understanding repression allows you to see what is truly going on beneath someone's words. When actions and words do not match, believe the actions. Hidden emotions always reveal themselves through behavior, tone, or timing. Recognizing this prevents confusion and helps you avoid taking emotional outbursts personally. Law 10, the law of envy. Envy is one of the most powerful and dangerous emotions. Almost everyone feels it, but no one admits it. People envy success, beauty, confidence, talent, relationships, anything that makes them feel less in comparison. Envy grows silently and can turn into anger, criticism, or sabotage. For example, someone may smile at your success, but secretly feel threatened. They might hide their envy through jokes, passive comments, or sudden coldness. They may try to compete with you or diminish your achievements. Envy often hides behind compliments that feel strange or fake. To protect yourself, pay attention to small signs, forced praise, uncomfortable smiles, or subtle negativity. It does not mean you must fear everyone, but awareness helps you avoid sharing your victories with the wrong people. Not everyone wants you to succeed. The healthiest way to handle envy in yourself is to see it as guidance. Instead of letting it damage you, use it to understand what you truly desire. Envy can reveal your hidden dreams. When you turn it into motivation, it becomes a powerful force instead of a destructive Law 11, the law of grandiosity. People often inflate their self-image. They imagine they are more talented, more capable, or more important than they truly are. This happens because the mind naturally wants to protect the ego. People want to feel special, chosen, or destined for something great. The problem begins when this inflated image does not match reality. For example, someone might dream of success but refuse to put in consistent effort because they believe their natural talent should be enough. Another person may think they deserve admiration without doing the work that earns respect. When life does not give them the attention they expect, they become frustrated or blame others. Grandiosity also appears when someone suddenly gets a little success. Instead of staying focused, they start feeling unstoppable. They take reckless risks. They ignore warnings. They think they cannot fail. But oversized confidence often leads to collapse. Balance is lost, and decisions become emotional instead of strategic. The best way to avoid this trap is to stay grounded. Success should make you work harder, not relax. Humility keeps you clear-headed and adaptable. True confidence grows from actions, discipline, and patience, not from fantasies. When you match your effort with your ambition, your achievements become more stable and long-lasting. Law 12, the law of gender rigidity. Society tries to force people into strict ideas of masculinity and femininity. Men are told to hide emotions, act strong, and avoid vulnerability. Women are told to be soft, agreeable, and supportive. But human nature is far more complex. Everyone has both masculine and feminine qualities inside, logic and emotion, strength and sensitivity, independence and connection. When people suppress parts of themselves to fit into these rigid roles, they become unbalanced. A man who refuses to show emotion may explode in anger because he lacks healthy ways to express fear or sadness. A woman who hides her assertiveness may struggle to set boundaries, leading to frustration. Understanding this law helps you accept your full self instead of living inside a narrow box. You can be strong and gentle, rational and emotional, confident and empathetic. When you allow both sides to exist, you become more stable and complete. It also helps you understand others better. When someone acts aggressively, it may be a reaction to emotional suppression. When someone seems overly emotional, it may come from years of being taught to stay quiet and soft. Seeing the deeper cause makes communication easier and kinder. Law 13, the law of aimlessness. People often move through life without clear direction. They drift from job to job, relationship to relationship, goal to goal, hoping something will magically give them purpose. Without a sense of direction, they become lost, distracted, and easily influenced by others. When people do not know what they want, they waste energy on things that do not matter. They may follow trends, chase approval, or copy others. They might start projects enthusiastically, but quit when the excitement fades. Aimlessness creates constant restlessness and frustration. Purpose does not need to be something huge or dramatic. It begins with understanding your natural strengths, interests, and values. When you aim your energy at something meaningful, Your actions become sharper, your decisions become easier, and your motivation lasts longer. A clear direction protects you from distractions and emotional chaos. Law 14, the law of conformity. Humans deeply desire acceptance. People often change their behavior, opinions, or personality to fit into groups. This comes from ancient survival instincts. Being excluded used to mean danger. Even today, people fear being judged or rejected. This law explains why people follow trends, repeat group opinions, or stay silent even when they disagree. It shows why individuals act differently in crowds, sometimes more confidently, sometimes more aggressively, sometimes more foolishly. Group pressure shapes behavior more than logic does. To rise above conformity, you must learn to trust your own mind. Ask yourself whether your choices come from your true values or from fear of judgment. Standing alone can be difficult, but it builds strength and individuality. When you stop trying to impress others, you free yourself to live more honestly. Law 15, the law of fickleness. People's feelings and loyalties can change quickly. Today they might admire you, and tomorrow they might feel indifferent or even hostile. Human emotions are unstable because they depend on circumstances, moods, and personal needs. Someone may support you when you benefit them, but distance themselves when your success threatens their ego. This constant shifting often confuses people, especially in friendships, work relationships, and romantic connections. For example, a co-worker might treat you kindly when you struggle, but become cold when you outperform them. A friend may encourage you until your achievements make them insecure. This doesn't always mean people are bad. It simply reveals how sensitive humans are to comparison and status. Understanding this prevents disappointment. You learn to rely on consistent character, not changing moods. Law 16, the law of aggression. Everyone carries a certain level of aggression inside, even if they hide it. Anger, frustration, and inner tension build up over time, and people release them in different ways. Some express it directly through arguments or physical actions. Others show it indirectly through sarcasm, passive-aggressive behavior, or subtle sabotage. Aggression is natural, but when repressed, it becomes unpredictable. Someone who always tries to appear calm might suddenly explode. A person who seems gentle may act harshly when pushed beyond their limit. It is wise to observe how people behave under stress, failure, or pressure, because these moments reveal their real emotional strength. Managing your own aggression is equally important. Recognize early signs, irritability, impatience, or the urge to argue. When you understand your triggers, you can choose healthier ways to release tension, such as physical activity, honest communication, or taking time alone. Controlling aggression gives you a powerful advantage because most people lose clarity when angry. Law 17, the law of generational myopia. People tend to see the world only through their own generation's perspective. Every generation believes their values, experiences, and ideas are the most correct. Young people may think older people are outdated, while older people may think the young are irresponsible or shallow. Both sides misunderstand each other because they judge from limited experience. This distance creates unnecessary conflict. In workplaces, older employees may resist new technology, while younger employees may ignore valuable experience. In families, parents and children struggle to understand each other's priorities. Each generation carries its own fears, dreams, and pressures shaped by the era they grew up in. To bridge this gap, you must expand your perspective. Try to understand what shaped the other person's mindset. What challenges did they face growing up? What fears influenced their behavior? When you see the broader picture, cooperation becomes easier. You learn from the past while adapting to the future, which helps you grow wiser and more flexible. Law 18, the law of death denial. People often avoid thinking about mortality. They distract themselves with work, entertainment, or routine try to forget that life has an end. This denial makes people waste time on unimportant things, delay their goals, or stay stuck in situations that do not bring meaning. But when people face the reality of limited time, their priorities become clearer. They stop tolerating toxic relationships, stop wasting energy on envy or fear, and start focusing on what truly matters: growth, connection, purpose, and experience. Accepting mortality is not depressing. It is liberating. It pushes you to act, to appreciate, and to live more fully. When you remember that every moment is finite, you gain a sharper sense of direction. You choose more wisely, love more deeply, and take responsibility for your life. This awareness gives strength and clarity that most people never reach. Law 19, the law of emotional contagion. Emotions spread from person to person like invisible signals. When someone is anxious, irritated, or excited, the people around them often start to feel the same way without realizing it. Humans are deeply sensitive to the energy of others. You can walk into a room and instantly sense tension or comfort, even if nobody says anything. This is because emotions communicate faster than words. For example, if a leader stays calm during a crisis, the group becomes calmer. But if that leader panics, the group falls apart. In relationships, one partner's mood can affect the entire atmosphere. A stressed friend can pull you into negativity, while someone optimistic can lift your spirits. Knowing this helps you protect your emotional world. Be careful with people who drain your energy or constantly complain. Your mind absorbs more from your environment than you think. Choose to spend time with people who show resilience, confidence, and positivity. And when you enter a room, remember that your own emotions influence others as well. Law 20, the law of influence. People constantly shape each other's thinking, behavior, and choices. Even when they believe they are acting independently, much of their behavior is learned from others, from parents, friends, culture, media, or environment. Humans imitate without noticing. They copy speech patterns, habits, attitudes, and values simply by being exposed to them. This means your environment is stronger than your intentions. You might want to be productive, but surrounded by lazy people, you will slow down. You might want to stay positive, but negative people will weaken your mindset. You might want to think differently, but group pressure will pull you back to the same patterns. The way to rise above this is to choose your influences consciously. Follow people who inspire discipline, clarity, and strength. Limit your exposure to those who complain, gossip, or focus on problems instead of solutions. You become like the people you spend time with. So choose wisely. Law 21, the law of authority. Humans are naturally drawn to confidence. When someone speaks with certainty, stands tall, and acts with purpose, people tend to listen and follow. This instinct comes from ancient times, when groups relied on strong leaders for survival. Even today, people often mistake confidence for competence. This means that anyone who learns how to project calm authority has a significant advantage. You do not need to be loud or aggressive. True authority is quiet and controlled. It shows through steady eye contact, clear speech, measured decisions, and emotional stability. At the same time, this law warns you to be careful of people who fake confidence. Some individuals speak loudly to hide their insecurity. Others use charm to manipulate. Do not be impressed by style. Look at their actual results, consistency, and character. Real authority is shown over time. Law 22, the law of purpose. Every person has potential, but most never reach it because they lack a clear purpose. Without direction, energy is scattered. People fall into distractions, bad habits, and emotional chaos. They may work hard, but without a meaningful goal, their effort feels empty. Purpose does not have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as improving your skills, helping your family, building something meaningful, or becoming a better version of yourself. What matters is that your actions move in one direction instead of many. When you follow your purpose, your choices become easier. You stop wasting time on things that do not fit your goals. You stop feeling lost. Obstacles become challenges instead of threats. Purpose gives structure to your life, like a compass that keeps you on the right path even when emotions fluctuate. Many people wait for purpose to magically appear, but purpose is created through action. When you try new things, push your limits, and reflect on what gives you energy, your direction becomes clearer. Over time, purpose grows stronger and becomes a source of motivation that others can feel. Law 23, the law of the sublime. Human beings are often trapped in daily routines, worries, and small problems. But from time to time, people feel moments of awe, moments when life seems larger, deeper, and more meaningful than usual. This can happen when watching a beautiful landscape, hearing powerful music, looking at the night sky, or experiencing something that reminds you the greatness of existence. These moments help you break out of your small perspective. They lift you above your fears, your ego, and your temporary struggles. When you experience something that feels bigger than yourself, your problems shrink and your mind becomes clearer. You gain inspiration and a sense of connection to something greater. People who seek these moments regularly become stronger. Mentally, they understand that life is not only about daily stress or competition. It is also about meaning, beauty, growth, and self-discovery. The sublime reminds you that your time is limited, but also valuable. It pushes you to live with intention and appreciate what you have instead of taking everything for granted, bringing it all together. Learning these laws gives you an advantage that most people never develop. You start to see the hidden forces behind behavior, the emotions, insecurities, and instincts that shape people's actions. Instead of feeling confused or hurt by others, you begin to understand them. You stop taking everything personally. You learn how to communicate with clarity, set better boundaries, and avoid manipulative people. Many people move through life without understanding themselves or anyone else. They react to emotions without thinking, repeat patterns without noticing, and follow groups without asking why. But once you understand how humans truly work, you gain control over your own life. You stop being pushed around by impulses, and you start making deliberate choices. Self-awareness becomes your greatest tool. You recognize your weaknesses, your triggers, and your strengths. You become more patient with others because you see the reasons behind their actions. You become more confident because you understand your inner world. And you become wiser because you observe life with open eyes instead of illusions. Applying the laws. These ideas are not meant to make you cold or manipulative. They help you live with clarity and emotional intelligence. You can use them to improve relationships, make better decisions, and build stronger boundaries. You can avoid toxic people by understanding their patterns. You can build deeper connections by communicating with empathy and awareness. When you understand human nature, you stop expecting perfection from others. You accept that everyone has flaws, fears, and mistakes. This acceptance gives you more peace. Instead of fighting reality, you work with it. Instead of resisting change, you adapt to it. You learn to guide your emotions instead of letting them control you. Final message. These laws show that the path to wisdom is not about judging others, but about understanding them and understanding yourself. When you see the deeper layers of human behavior, life becomes less confusing and more manageable. You gain the ability to stay calm during chaos, stay focused during distractions, and stay true to your purpose even when the world pushes you in different directions. The more you learn about human nature, the more freedom you gain. And that freedom allows you to build a life that is stronger, smarter, and more meaningful than anything you imagined before.